Of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. Welcome to the program, Sami. What do you make of this offer to Yahya Sinwar?
It's a ploy. I mean, the Israelis use all these kind of offers just to distract from the main point. And the main point is that there has to be a deal if they want their hostages, their captives back. So all what they do is just distract their internal population as well as the international community by giving these nonsensical offers. If Sinwar wants to get out of Gaza, he could, but of course that's not his intention at all. So for them to present this, also trying to discredit him in front of his people, which is, it's not serious.
In terms of any potential deal, how much more difficult or easy possibly is it for Israel to deal with Hamas now that Sinwar is both the military and political chief of the group?
I mean, I don't think anything has changed on the ground. I mean, certainly what Hamas is doing and the other resistance movements is to have a war of attrition. Israel is not going to withdraw, is not going to adhere to the conditions that the resistance has set, mainly to withdraw from Gaza and to stop the aggression and to have a deal with the hostages unless it is confronted with 4 different point pressures. The most important is what's on the ground, but also equally important is the American pressure, which is significant because America has so much leverage over Israel. And there's also the internal leverage or the internal pressure from the domestic population who want their captives back. And finally, the regional one, which is non-existent at the moment.
Is there any reason for Palestinians to be optimistic about the possibility of Kamala Harris becoming the next president? Just referring back to what the 2 candidates were talking about in Philadelphia, with Kamala Harris talking about a 2-state solution and the rights of Palestinians, and Donald Trump saying if she becomes president, Israel will cease to exist within a few years. Anything at all in the difference between these two, and especially would there be anything that the Palestinians can cling on to if there were to be a President Kamala Harris?
I wish that was the case. Apparently, both of them are not only pro-Israel, but pro-genocide. If you had listened yesterday to what she had to say about the situation, she used some words, empty gestures for the Arab and Muslim population in order to gain their votes. But in reality, she kept this tired rhetoric about Israel has the right to defend itself, while she knows for a fact over 150,000 Palestinians, 70% of which are women and children, have been killed, lost, or injured. And she's still using the same words. So it's not serious. I think, on the other hand, Trump is even worse. He's hyperbolic. He's trying to use scare tactics to gain the Jewish votes. So in both cases, they're both trying to appease the Israeli lobby and the Israeli electorate, or the Jewish electorate rather, in America. Without any notion for any kind of end of this atrocity, of this genocide, of this ethnic cleansing taking place now for almost a year.
When we look at what's happening in the occupied territories, Sami, is there any reason to suppose that possibly Hamas and the Palestinian Authority should be working more closely together? I mean, Hamas governing Gaza and the PA in the occupied territories, at the end of the day, they're both still caring for the people of Palestine.
I mean, using logic, that should be the case. But unfortunately, the Palestinian Authority now for years have been shunning all attempts for reunification or reconciliation talks. I don't think the problem is with the resistance or Hamas or other parties. It's always been the PA, Mahmoud Abbas, who have been adhering to Israeli dictates, to the American pressure, to the American threats that they will cut off all aid to the Palestinians that is channeled through the Palestinian Authority. Let's remember that much of the salaries that the Palestinian Authority gives to its tens of thousands of employees come from collecting taxes and customs by Israel. And the moment it's going to have any kind of reconciliation or any kind of unity talks with Hamas, it's always threatened, particularly with Smotrich as the finance minister, that they will cut off all this aid. And Abbas himself, it seems to me, has been listening to the Americans much more than his people.
Sami Al-Arian, we always appreciate even the analysis. Take care, Sami. Thank you.
Thank you.